In a 2022 study in Germany, researchers found Christmas tree plantations could represent important refuges for declining farmland birds such as yellowhammers and common linnets in intensive agricultural areas. Another 2018 study of Sauerland in Germany found Christmas tree plantations are important strongholds for woodlarks. A 2019 study in Belgium found that beetle diversity, including of threatened species, was higher in Christmas tree plantations than maize fields. In naturally forested areas of the northeast US, younger, open forests like Christmas tree plantations can provide higher concentrations of insects or grasses. Especially if the Christmas tree farm is part of a much larger landscape or a mosaic of habitat types, including mature, larger, intact forests, I think there's a real ecological niche that it's fulfilling. Of course, Christmas trees are still typically treated with plenty of pesticides and especially fertilizers to keep them aesthetically pleasing. A 2021 study led by landscape ecologist Merle Streitberger from Osnabrück University in Germany found that organic Christmas tree plantations had better habitat structure and plant species diversity than conventional ones. For many people, Christmas trees can offer a rare opportunity to interact with nature. Like any other tree, Christmas trees capture carbon as they grow. When they are cut down, they will begin to release that carbon. There's a continuous process of growth and of taking carbon out of the atmosphere, which is a positive thing. It's also worth putting the amount of carbon involved in having a Christmas tree in context. The Carbon Trust estimates that a 2-meter tall Christmas tree burnt after use emits only 3.5 kilograms carbon dioxide equivalent. A tree of the same size that ends up in landfill has a carbon footprint of 16 kilograms of CO2. How people dispose of their Christmas trees after use is usually the single most important carbon consideration. The worst case scenario happens when Christmas trees end up in landfill. The oxygen-poor conditions are conducive to more of the carbon wrapped up in the tree being released as methane rather than CO2. Since methane is greenhouse gas some 80 times more potent than CO2 on a 20-year timescale, a tree that ends up in landfill emits some 4 to 5 times as much carbon as one that doesn't. Aside from disposal, Christmas trees affect the climate due to the fertilizers used to grow them, which are made using fossil fuels and produce nitrous oxide, another powerful greenhouse gas. Managing and harvesting the forests also uses fuel, as does transporting the trees to their final location. And then, of course, there is the question of whether simply to opt for an artificial tree. These take hundreds of years to break down in landfill, but could be lower carbon overall than buying multiple real trees if reused for long enough. If you have an artificial tree, the key is to reuse it for as many years as possible. It's a drop in the ocean, but like any drop, it can be very useful as a model of how to approach things. So Christmas trees may not be the environmental bane of the festive period, and can even provide some ecological benefits. But we can still vastly improve their management. We can reduce or eliminate the fertilizers and pesticides used to grow them, including by accepting wonkier trees, and ensure forests are certified by schemes such as the Forest Stewardship Council, which verifies sustainable sourcing of forest products. We can also try to grow them near to cities, in places where the alternative options for that land use are environmentally worse. On an individual level, we can consider using pot-grown instead of cut trees, then planting them permanently. We can prioritize buying local trees to reduce travel emissions, and we can definitely aim to ensure that no Christmas trees end up in landfill. It's a drop in the ocean, but like any drop, it can be very useful as a model of how to approach things. Christmas trees reach out in the areas of the climate change and biodiversity crisis, cost, welfare, affordability, and everything basically. Because it's something that pretty much everyone wants.